Good evening. Welcome to Berardi and Coke from the Ought to Know Better podcast. You've got myself, Jake Arte, joined by the sharp-tongued, pod savage Smarty. Here he is. Been upsetting anyone this week?
I'll take it. Many people. Too many to probably consider. But
I should hope so, mate.
Just a day in the life of Smarty, I'm afraid.
That's the way it needs to be. That's just how it is. Right, so we've got that mess of a match last night to talk about, but before we do, I will roll us an intro.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds hating bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
He's a utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Nothing spectacular, really. Sums it up. To be fair, that's not applied for a little while, so I don't feel like the intro's as cursed as I once did. But yeah, I mean, how are you feeling after last night's result? What do you reckon? Would you have took a point beforehand, or were you looking for a win?
No, I think anyone who says any different than taking away 3 points is a fibber. I would say, based on the performance against Millwall and the positive performances that we've had. I think going there, even though they've been playing all right this season, and they are. I think they were sixth. I don't know where they are now, but they were sixth in the table. I was expecting a good performance. And to be honest with you, I did think we had a decent performance. We just weren't clinical enough. I think it all just boils down to the fact that, they set up well. They're not a shit team. They did a kind of a Wednesday. They performed the low block, as all these people like to say nowadays. And just defended well. I mean, when you look at Hull, the way they play, they're quite aggressive. They do... I don't know. I couldn't get it into my head how they were trying to play, because 1 minute they were playing quite possessive and they'd play out from the back and they'd zip it around the back, and all of a sudden they just lump it forward. So it was like car crash into frigging Warnock territory. Do you know what I mean? It was like, what the frigging hell are we watching? Because they played well out of the back and then they didn't get anywhere. And whether that's because of the quality of their team or what, but it was just like, right, we'll play around the back, right, we're getting nowhere, thump it up front. Yeah. But to be honest, like I say, we've spoken briefly, obviously, before we came on, that I don't specifically remember too much of the game. I remember little details, like them hitting the bar, Rodon sending off, a couple of chances that we didn't take. But apart from that, I don't really remember great details. So I had to go back and watch the highlights a little bit just to kind of refresh my memory, because it's probably not a game that I'll ever remember again after this.
I don't think anyone's going to watch it back, are they, again? I
think it'll be one to forget.
Yeah,
but there were a couple of good moments, a couple of bad moments. I mean, obviously the Rodon sending off, that yellow card was just an absolute joke. I mean, Rodon receives the ball, takes a bit of a bad touch, but it goes round their player. As Rodon moves round their player, he kind of like backs into him purposefully. You can see. I mean, obviously people probably watch replays and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it kind of falls over. It's never seen a yellow card in a million years.
No.
And that's kind of how they set up and that. But
he seemed to lose his cards for them, didn't he?
Well, he didn't lose a card for the manager, did they? To be fair, I thought that the referee were favouring us a little bit in the kind of the first 20 minutes. I thought we were doing all right, kind of get him on side, and then as all refs do, they're just inconsistent and just arse wipes. But like I said, the second Rodon card, you can argue, it's a yellow card, but it's like fucking hell. That's just completely fucked him for a game. It should never have been a red card, because the fucking first yellow card shouldn't have ever been issued.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, the second one were yellow. He stopped the guy on purpose. Fair enough. I don't know whether he even considered that when he did it, thinking, that he'd already been booked, or whether he just did what came instinctively to save his team. But yeah, I came away from the game thinking, the ref were all right. But then, the more I've thought about it after and on reflection, I don't think he were great, were he? It's what we get at this level, isn't it?
That's it, exactly. But the thing that, the counter argument to that is that when you go into the Premier League, they're backed up by an absolute bullshit video referee sat in the middle of nowhere, looking.
Yeah,
at
they're
the game
backed
through
up by a
TV
guy
camera.
who'll watch something happen and still not give it.
Exactly. So it's you get the worst kind of. I suppose a secondary level of referees in the championship. However, the ones at the top aren't making any frigging waves either, are they? So
No,
but
they'll be replaced by droids one day, Smarty. So don't worry.
Well, hopefully, even then, we'll need to blame it on something, won't we?
Yeah, that's.
But I think we were firmly in control until Rodon got sent off, which obviously saw the introduction of Cooper. Pirot came off. Another quiet game for him. A little bit. He didn't seem to get right involved or anything. I mean, I know obviously we weren't that great at going forward, but yeah, he seemed to have another quiet game. I thought Jorginho did really well. Actually, you can tell.
Oh,
you can see. I know.
He thought about it too much.
I think he did. I reckon, right? And I've had this conversation today with a few people at work. I think if he'd have taken a touch and tried to chip him, just dink him.
Yeah.
Because their keeper were about 20 yards off his line, at least. He was maybe 30, 35, 40 yards off. He could have dinked him from there. I mean, someone with a bags of confidence may have done. He done. But 9 times out of 10, no keeper saves that. He's very fortunate that he got a foot to it.
He tried to bang it in just next to the post.
Yeah, he tried to just tuck it away. Nice.
Swerve on
I think people were expecting him to go to because he's left. I think he's left-footed, isn't he? He'd have expected him to go to his right, but obviously he cut him across, but he got there with his foot. The shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Pirot quiet. Jorginho very good. Cooper doing Cooper things as soon as he was introduced.
Oh God!
I nearly had a mild heart attack when he left it for Melier. Or what were the whole
Masilla?
Masilla left it for Masilla at the back.
Masilla at the beginning. I think he was Massilia by the end. So
Massilia.
Yeah.
Massilia. Right. Okay. Massilia.
Yeah. Special mention for Pascal Struch as well.
Struch, yes. Our new signing. Pascal Struch. But yeah, again, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling ever more confident every game I go to. Apart from obviously when they absolutely spooned their opportunity right at the end from a fucking wish, God. Adam Traore, Jesus Christ. Bamford-esque in all its glory. Bamford-esque in all its glory. That were unreal.
I'll bet you he's still thinking about that today.
Oh, you what? You won't have been able to sleep last night.
Not a chance. My heart was in my mouth when that happened. Jesus Christ! I mean, how did he miss?
I don't know. God knows.
I think their fans were already celebrating, weren't they?
In Premier League, that gets absolutely buried.
Oh God, yeah. Usually, unless
absolutely
it's buried.
Hey, what's this little bellend saying in freaking comments? I said Adama. I didn't say Adam. Mr. frigging Lamb Blasted's come back to haunt me. Look,
I think you might have said Adam.
Whatever.
But we'll let you off.
Whatever.
The old Lamb Blaster.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't deserve to be called Adama because he's just a wish. Adama.
Well, exactly. He's
Adam Traore instead.
Luke's just sat watching, waiting for stuff to come up so he can.
Sat there in his unwashed string vest.
Yeah.
Right. Now I didn't even know anything about the whole Lamb Blasted comment, but that's an absolute fine one, that isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's it. Now he's known as the Leeds Lamb Blaster. So
the Lamb Blaster coming to a farm near you. I thought I would know him as a Lamb Blaster because I like to go down to Wales all this time. But
well, you are until Luke.
It's funny how the tables turn, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is.
Somerville, I thought, played well. It's a shame about Nonto. I don't know if we've had any updates to Nonto. Is he okay? He got an ankle knock or something?
I did see something earlier that said he'd had a knock to his foot, but I didn't actually read the tweet to see how long he was out because I were in the middle of something and it were one of them notifications from our mate Phil A. Yeah. Let me just see. Let me see what he said because we need to know these things.
I've had a very busy day. I've not kept my ear to the ground today. I don't know.
I've had a terrible day, mate. My cat's had his balls off and he's.
You look horrendous. I'll be totally honest with you.
I'm not feeling great. He's wandering around in a daze. He's still groggy. He's not happy, poor lad. He's got a cone on as well.
Some kind of Russian mafia. There's something going on with that.
Yeah, when my hair's not done or out like that, I just look like Ian Beale when he went.
I'm surprised you haven't turned up with a gilet and some Chelsea boots on. But no, I thought Somerville did well when he came on. He was always a constant threat, and he was unlucky to not bury a couple of his chances as well, really.
So Farker said Nonto needed more assessment, so that sounds doubtful to me for the weekend. Took a knock on his foot/ankle.
I suppose they'll give it a little bit of time, won't you? and we should know he's got a presser tomorrow.
You want him to be right, don't you? So you're going to wait till the last minute. But if he's not, then Somerville arguably played better than he did.
Yeah, I was surprised that Dan James starting. I was surprised at that actually.
But that were rotation, wasn't it? That were because we've got Watford coming up, and he just changed a couple, didn't he?
But
I thought we'd see more. I
like James as an impact sub, though.
Yeah, he's good against tired legs because they can't cope with him.
Absolutely.
He's the kind of player that our mate Luke Ayling has nightmares about.
Yes.
I mean, he had another shocker.
I know.
He was absolutely fucking horrendous.
Cooper being Cooper and Ayling.
He looked all right last game. We thought maybe he's going to have a renaissance. They're an Indian summer, mate. Gone again. Fucked.
They've got a good winger, though, haven't they? They do all right. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. I think in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they're good enough. I don't think they were much better than what Millwall were. I think they just had a little bit more of a game plan than Millwall did.
Absolutely.
But Millwall came at us straight out the blocks for the first 10, 15 minutes maybe, and we had to dig in a little bit, and then our quality shone through, whereas Hull didn't really... like I said, the playing style kind of confused me. I didn't really realise know what the hell they were kind of do. Whether it was possessive or whether it was just oof ball. I think it was a bit of a mix of both. So, but I think with the way they played, they did pretty well. They're sixth for a reason. They've done all right to start the season. They played some decent teams as well. So they're probably going to be there or thereabouts. So we can't really take too much away from that. I think if you'd have said, right, 60 minutes, Rodon's just gone off, we're down to 10 men, would you take a 0-0 draw? Absolutely would. Although we didn't do too bad initially with the 10 men. I think it was only the last 10, 15 minutes that we started to get a little bit of what's he on about him?
Saying you definitely said Adam.
Fucking hell. Tell you what, I'll start bloody bringing up old shit. You come out with every frigging week. Jesus, he makes his own frigging words up, this lad.
He does.
Got a dictionary of Lukeisms.
The Book of Luke.
So like I say, he's got his press conference tomorrow, aren't we? So we should find out a little bit more about what the state of the squad is or whatever.
I mean, we need Spence urgently, and we're stuck without him for 2 months because that is traditional in Leeds, isn't it? When you sign somebody that you're excited about. But I mean, it's got to be Byram and Shackleton on it, full-backs going forward until Spence is back.
He won't drop Ayling.
He's got to.
I mean, what you could potentially see on Saturday, is Cresswell or Cooper going to start at back? Because obviously Rodon's banned for a game. So Cooper may come in and take the captain's badge. He may well drop Ayling. Because
he might, yeah.
We've had this conversation before. The candidates for the captaincy, you're fishing in a very shallow pond, aren't you? There, so you never know. You might see the first start for Byram and maybe Shackleton at the back. You never know. I don't think Shackleton did too well.
I didn't think he did great, but he didn't really do anything wrong. He didn't really do anything wrong.
No,
I'll take that from a makeshift fullback. Compare him to Luke Ayling on the other side, who allegedly is a fullback. I'd sooner see Shaq than Ayling, and a couple of years ago I would never have said that. But time waits for no man, Smarty.
That's what I mean. He's knocking on now, isn't he?
He's been a great servant, and we can never forget that. We have to appreciate everything he's given us, but that his time has now passed.
That's it. I mean, do you bite the bullet and say, right, I've passed my peak. I'm starting the slow down slope now. Do I get to a point where the fans are like, oh fucking, I'll get rid of him now? Ideally, you want to be remembered well and well thought of when you leave the club. But is he going to be tarnishing his reputation by these mistakes that he's making? Hopefully not.
What's that quote from bloody? It's Batman, innit? It's somewhat like you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Oh, and that's what the old guard are all in danger of.
So you got to be thankful for what they've done for them. Go on.
I'm just going to pull up Skip's comment. It's just saying on Saturday, do we start Byram left back, Shaq's right back, Cooper or Creswell come in, or do we drop Ampadu in as centre back and start Kamara or Groove in CDM? I would say please do not put Ampadu at centre back. He's just too important pulling the strings in midfield for me. You're right, Smarty. You look like you.
No, I'm just reading this guy's comment. Martin Nolan must be new here. That's all I can say. It's no wonder this podcast doesn't get many views when you have the likes of Smarty calling a viewer a bell end. Well, this viewer here is one of the podcast members who's giving me some shit in the comments. So, Martin, please consider yourself educated. I wouldn't call any of our listeners, our wonderful viewers, a bellend. Of course not. Would never say anything like that.
Absolutely.
But we get shit tons of fucking views, so I don't know what you're on about either. But thanks for tuning in anyway. Like and subscribe.
That's it. We make £10 a month on YouTube. Get fucked. On a good month.
But yeah, Luke's one of us. There's five of us, and he's just there chirping in comments. That's why I pulled him up on it. So
yeah, he's one of our own, so we can call him anything we want because he does that to us basically when he's on. So
he's not. He just thought he'd fire into us anyway. Good on you. Fair play.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. All views are welcome here, mate. Even crap ones. Scooby D2 says that left wing alone, he decided, feck it, if Shaq's left wing, I must be left back. Glad he tracked back and all, but other than that, did no. I'd agree with that, he were anonymous when he came on.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what I expected when we signed him, although people say he is meant to be really good and they were very important for them and involved in a lot of their goals, so maybe he just needs a bit of time to settle. I mean, look at Ruta. Ruta was shocking when he first played.
Didn't get enough time though, did he?
No.
He didn't get enough time.
So... But it's just settling in, isn't it? It's just settling in.
This will be a good confidence booster. I mean, I've said it again, and I will say it again. Brendan Aronson probably could have been a good season for him to come down to the Championship. Get a bit of game time under his belt. Roughing it out in the Championship and taking that forward. Because if you can cut it down here, then you stand a good chance to do well in Premier League, don't you?
Exactly. But it's big time, Charlie. It's a big time, Charlie.
So bollocks to him.
Skip's just saying all teams are targeting Ayling now. Yeah. That is our weakness now. Our soft underbelly, Luke Ayling. What would you do? Would you put Byram there?
You keep taking these comments off. Keep them up there. Yeah, I would. I probably would do. One of the comments today was the fact that Byram didn't start because they were trying to save his legs because he's injury prone. Fair enough. But Luke Ayling's, still going at it in whatever his age. I mean, obviously, Carl would have him, send him over the Rainbow Bridge or whatever, at the ripe age of 29 or whatever he was when he made them comments. Yeah. But yeah, to exclude him for that, I don't know. But I think Byram probably does start on Saturday. I think it's time for Ayling to kind of accept his fate and move to the bench. I mean, when Jed Spence is available, whenever that may be, hopefully it's only a few weeks away, we'll see the introduction of him and he can firmly take that right back as his own. But until then, Byram for me. I think he did really well. I think he runs the channels well. He gets stuck in and he just oozes quality. Yeah. There were a reason why we sold him for a good amount of money back in 2014, 15, wasn't it? So yeah, I'd definitely start Byram, I think. But we don't do the normal thing of everything that's the most obvious choice, do we? We're Leeds United, so.
No, we like to put square pegs in round holes and
exactly
have utensil players all over the pitch. Yeah, that's what we need, some good utensils. Do any job you want. Did you think Somerville looked better than Nonto then when he came on?
Yeah, I
thought he just looked like he had no life in him.
Yeah, but the first 10 minutes were kind of thereabouts when it kind of
and
them and us and them. There were no clear sort of possession-based football going on at that point. He did do some good stuff. Did Nonto, but he's too really early in game, and then obviously he got injured, didn't he? Whereas Somerville, played for the majority of the game and did, like I say, he had a few good opportunities to score himself. He had an absolute cracker of a shot saved. Their keeper had a really, really good game, to be fair. Apparently our fans have been slagged off saying that they were absolutely shit as well, which
really?
Wow. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I've seen people on Twitter, all fans, saying that our fans were absolutely crap and some of the worst that they've seen. I was like, is it because you're Hull and you're just using it as a stick to beat someone with, or is it because it was your cup final and you couldn't hear yourselves because you were that excited? Or I don't know. It's Hull.
Did you
I don't think I've ever met a Hull fan that's actually been sound. They're all absolutely full of shit and
do you know what?
Within an inch of their lives.
I have a couple of mates over that way, and my mate, who's a Hull fan all his life, he actually said to me, I thought Leeds were a better team and should probably have won. But then, it's a shame we didn't score when you were down to 10 men, but he thought we should have come away with a win overall. Yeah. Which were nice to hear, to be fair, because most rival fans, they'll never admit it. No. But you can't argue with logic, man.
I'll be honest. When the fixtures ever get released, or back in the days when we were just a mediocre championship team, I didn't ever look out for Hull City FC. That wasn't a fixture that I ever thought, ooh, that'll be tasty. Whereas I can absolutely guarantee you, the Tigers would have been fucking looking at our spreadsheet thinking,
you mean the Tigers?
Sorry, the Tigers, the father.
The Tigers, yeah, mauled by the Tigers.
So, I look for stuff like Huddersfield and Wednesday. Those for me are our biggest derbies, really.
Yeah, and even even Huddersfield, I don't consider a major rival. It's just nice to beat them. But it's just nice to beat them because of the fans.
Town fans, exactly. Because I work with so many town fans, it's one of them. They absolutely.
And I've lived over that way myself. So.
First game they look for is when are we playing Leeds?
Absolutely.
I was speaking to one of the lads at work. He's a massive town fan, and I says, when do we actually play you? And he went, it's 4 weeks away. Oh, fucking hell, steady on. Counting fucking days. I was like writing bloody lines on.
Got his calendar anyway, big circle around it.
With dartboard on. But yeah, so they're well up for it. And like Wednesday, it's good to have a derby, and I missed that in the Premier League. When I look at some of these teams that we play, Millwall, your Wednesdays, your Huddersfield, Middlesbroughs, they usually bring a decent set of lads down as well. I miss that, and I miss that rivalry because the rest of it, they don't know. It's just sanitized bullshit, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to be back there. So at the minute, I'm just kind of enjoying myself being back in the championship. It's
grittier. It's grittier in the championship.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's a hell of a lot worse football to watch. Let's be honest.
Oh God, yeah.
It's not great, is it?
Refs are shocking. Football's crap, but it's arguably.
It seems like there's more life. But
it's only fun if you're doing well.
Yeah, but even so, like when we were a mediocre championship club, not so long ago, there was still more soul. I'd have still, dwarfs the Premier League for just the proper fans, aren't they? Even though some of the attendances aren't massive, it's just you get a feel for like the proper diehard fans. Whereas when we had, there's that many frigging tourists and that around, it's just fucking hell,
I mean, when we had 16,000 in League One, you could say there were more soul. Because it were people that really wanted to be there, who would be there wherever we are, whatever league we're in, whatever the weather, they'd miss a mum's funeral for a game sort of thing.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
There's a hell of a lot of our fans, that I know that they've gone rain, snow, shine, League One, League Two, not League Two, I mean Championship, League One. And some of the best atmospheres I've ever been in have been in half-empty Ellen Road.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's just a hardcore, and the people who were there never stopped singing, and it's just a good laugh, like the camaraderie as well, and just you feel like you're in it together. You're going through the shit together.
I don't want to start being accused of calling our fans plastic, by the way.
No, of course
not. The atmospheres at Ellen Road are really good, but I'm just saying that the Premier League attracts more part-time fans, shall we say, than the hardcore ones that you usually get in the lower leagues.
Yeah, of course.
Before I get myself into any trouble.
Some people just don't want to pay money out to watch shit when they know it's going to be shit every week. And you can kind of understand that. That's their choice. I'm not going to slag anyone off for that. Money's tight, and sometimes you have to make a choice. So, I can understand that. I'm not going to call anyone any names. I didn't always go to every game, not until I got to a point where I could. So, same for a lot of people. But
you look really sad when you were talking then. Just the way that you look it's just
I'm not having a great day, so But I'm here to entertain. I'm here for my sadness.
It's another clean sheet anyway. Come on.
I'm here for my sadness to be used by these viewers.
3 clean sheets in a row, mate. 3 clean sheets in a row, mate. Positives.
There's a comment I was going to pull up here from Scooby.
You've started a few. Just go through.
I have, yeah. I'm going to go through them in a minute. It's just Scooby saying, I honestly can't believe nobody else has mentioned Coop's comedy flip after his cock up, daft flop, and attempted to head a ball on the floor.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
He tried doing a nailing, didn't he?
Watching it, when he was near the front post, and he kind of went round a bit. It's not like he started trying to do a spinneroonie.
He got nowhere near it, did he?
No, it were fucking miles away, man. It were great though, it were entertaining. I will pull these comments. Just give me a second. I'll just grab them. Just Scooby again is just saying, I'd have been happier with the same result if we'd done a fair few rotations, stay fit and fresh for Watford. As it is, I feel a bit pissed off and reckon flatness will follow to Watford. Let's hope not. John LUC Garside says, hope Creswell is in, not blooper. You and me both, pal. Mr. Dodo says, speaks more to how shit Hull are when they couldn't get anything past us with 10 men. Can't argue with that. I mean, Jesus Christ, it was like Dunkirk that last 5 minutes and still couldn't get anything. Mr. Dodo again says English refs across the board are shite. Absolutely agree, Paul.
Some of them aren't too bad, but the majority are below average, I would say.
I would say most are crap, and you get a couple of good ones. That's it. Jan Elliott, Garside, clean sheet though, which you were just saying.
Absolutely.
3 in a row, mate. 3 in a row. Where's that come from?
I know. Don't know.
We're 10 men.
It's strange, isn't it?
Thank you, goalpost. Skip says, thought we played well, just final ball letting us down. Can't argue with that one. Nige D, 2 points dropped last night. We should have had the game sewn up at half time. Definitely.
Yeah,
Danny's flying the flag for his ear because he's a good lad. He says, doesn't matter if you have 1 0 200, this is one of the best podcasts out there. Cheers, mate. We do try.
Cheers, Danny.
You know, we don't claim to be number one or anything like that. We just come and we do our thing, and we're us. We're authentic, and what you see is what you get. You either like it and you're on our wavelength, or you think we're crap and you watch something else. It's fair enough. Steve says there was more life from the cardboard cutouts during lockdown than there was from the Premier League away crowds.
Some of them were crap on there. I mean, there was some good atmospheres in there. I mean, the first season we were allowed back in. Obviously, the season where we lost Bielsa and Mr. Marsh came on board.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
There was some cracking atmospheres, but I think that was more of an act of defiance, really, than just the crowd being the crowd, you know.
Yeah,
I think we did it because the football was shit, but, you know. That was always one good thing about the crowds and stuff like that. The football was shite, the footballers were shite, but the crowd were always fantastic, and it was kind of a badge of honour for us.
There is no better crowd than Leeds, I swear to God. Do you remember the Arsenal game when we should have postponed, but didn't, and we had like 9 fit players?
Yeah.
And every other team were postponed, and Bielsa wouldn't have it. He was like, no, if there's enough people at the club to play, then the club plays. And that's what we did. We all knew that we were going to get destroyed that day. We all knew. And it was like a fucking party atmosphere. Like there were beach balls going around and people were just laughing and singing and drinking. And we knew what was going to happen. So we just embraced it and we just go away and enjoy it anyway. It's what we do.
Yeah.
If the football's shit, we'll make our own fun. We'll have a laugh. That's why I could never support anyone else. It just wouldn't be the same. Just would not be the same.
No.
I've just unstarred Skip's comment by accident where he was asking if you are calling some Leeds fans armchair supporters, Smarty.
I saw that. I won't have started it. Smarty calling some Leeds fans armchair supporters. You get armchair supporters in every single fan base there is. You know, to say that there isn't, you'd be an absolute fool. So yes, absolutely. I am saying that. Absolutely.
I remember this. There was once this thing on Talkshite where this guy rang up and he was having a go at him about Marcus Rashford. He was a Scum fan, and he was like, "No, you're wrong about him." Blah blah blah. I've seen every game. And then they said, "Oh, were you there today?" And you were like, "Oh no." And they said, "Which games have you been to?" And then he's like, "Oh well, actually, I watch them on TV, but I've watched all of them." And it's just you get them everywhere. I mean, they probably get loads because they are really plastic, but.
You get a sanitised version of it, don't you, want on the TV whenever you watch? You don't get a proper feel for it. And you want to see what the camera sees. You don't see what everyone else sees.
Like, you know, it's the off-the-ball stuff. Yeah. It's the off-the-ball stuff that's often important and adds to a player's worth, you know. Gilly is saying, can't believe you just outed yourself as hating Leeds fans, Smarty.
This is a bit of a hypocritical comment from our good friend, Mr. Ramskill. Because
getting some stick tonight.
Well, that's fair enough. I'll take it. I don't mind. Both of you and I know very well Mr. Gill is quite active on Twitter and does a lot of arguing and calls a lot of Leeds fans a lot of name and gets a lot of hate himself. So he's an
OKB ambassador.
He is, yeah. So he gets stuck into as many Leeds fans as I just have done. So,
but he likes to get stuck into them individually.
I do hate some Leeds fans, absolutely. Some fucking fans are arseholes. But there's arseholes in every single fan base, like I said. You know?
Absolutely. Some of them are on this podcast. 5 of them. Before anyone thinks I'm actually calling them an arsehole, slyly. Tony O'Shea says, Struch is a baller. He most certainly is, mate. I love
Pascal Struch, an absolute blinding player he is.
What a guy.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the end of your. Is that the end of your comments? Is it?
It is. I'm just going to pull this one up as well from Tony. Ayling will play Get Real J in Farker we trust. Do you really think Farker's going to keep playing him after the horror show? Really?
Yeah.
If he does, then that's his decision and he'll live or die by it. But I can't fathom out why you'd do that. I just don't. Beyond experience, he's not as good a footballer as even Byram.
And to be fair, Byram's knocking. I don't actually know how old he is, but I know he's in his late 20s now. He's Byram.
He's like 29 or something.
There's a lot of experience there, and he's not a young kid that's coming in to replace him. So
exactly.
Really, if it's experience and that kind of leadership value that you've got in Ayling, it's not going to be going too far missing from Byram. He's an established player. He's a quality player. He's young enough to get up and down. I mean, yes, he is injury prone, but if he's fit enough, fucking start him.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. In fact, we trust, like he says.
Tony says Shax was poor. I think you said something along those lines earlier, Smarty.
I don't think... Yeah, I think we both agree. I don't think Shax was poor, but I don't think he was excellent. I just think he was mediocre. I think, like a lot of the players, they didn't really cover themselves in glory, but I don't think, apart from a couple of howlers from Ayling and potential from Cooper, that there weren't really many errors or mistakes that stick in my mind, that we can go, oh my God.
Yeah,
that was.
I didn't. I didn't think he did out spectacular, but I didn't think he did out really bad.
No,
it was just it were a bit quiet.
Yeah, he's fairly consistent in here.
It were probably a 6 out of 10 performance.
He's a good player to have, and he'll play whatever you want him, and he'll cover. Remember, it's not his natural position. He's not a left back. Christ.
No.
Apparently, there aren't any left backs in the world. So
the hardest thing to find, apparently, if you're Leeds United.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I thought you'd paused then because it took you that long to reply to me.
I'm just reading. I'm reading comments.
Here we go. Skip's harking back to what we said about the atmosphere. That home game against West Brom when Pablo scored after 17 seconds. What an atmosphere! I think I was in Afghanistan for that. I was sat in a TV room with a load of Turkish blokes, watching Leeds on telly.
Steady. You're not on porn, are you?
No, it's not one of them. There's no alcohol on base, mate. No danger.
X-rated.
Jesus, I've lost track now. I don't know what I was going to say next.
The West Brom game. There's a few games from that season that's sticking vividly in my mind. One of them was the derby when we beat them after the Spygate incident. That were a cracking atmosphere, brilliant.
Yeah.
Another really, really good atmosphere was one of the last games. In fact, was the last game we were all allowed there against Huddersfield Town when Ayling did that guitar celebration after that absolute wonder shot.
Oh yeah,
that was a cracking. There were some really, really good atmospheres. We were confident, we were winning, we were doing really, really well. I think we'd gone 5 games unbeaten at that point, and then we got done over by some batlickers from China.
Hang on a minute. Tony says Ayling's overall rating for a season not that bad and played well last night. You thought he played well? Genuinely?
Well, you're always going to get divided opinions, aren't you? I think the majority of people,
fair enough. But
the majority of people you'll encounter will say that he wasn't his best, that he made some errors, but then again, he's good. He's good at crossing the ball. He's really, really good at going forward, is Ayling. Yeah. He puts a lot of pressure on that right-hand side. It's just getting back. It's like when Jed Spence came on for his very brief appearance. You could see the quality that he had, the speed and the tenacity, I suppose, if you want for a better word, that he put to get back and get that block in and that tackle. Ayling would have been nowhere near it. He'd have just probably gone, he'd have just sighed and kind of got his old legs working,
Yeah, absolutely.
Give him a jump start or whatever. But yeah,
they'd have probably rugby tackled him, give a penalty away.
Yeah. That was a cracking challenge by Rodon, by the way. They were obviously trying to get a penalty that they said they should have had a penalty.
Oh,
50-50.
Yeah.
When they went shoulder to shoulder and both kind of fell over each other.
It was like a tomahawk missile. He just came fucking steaming in and he just smashed the lad. Yeah. Shoulder to shoulder. Off he went. He just went flying, that kid. Didn't know what hit him.
Yeah.
Their manager wasn't happy, were he?
No.
Through any of the game.
Would you?
Especially that part, though.
I mean, we slagged these fucking referees off, but it was a good decision, And over the last few games that we've seen, some really, really good refereeing decisions. Obviously the opening goal where Ayling decided to do a bit of breakdancing on floor with his face.
Oh yeah,
Everyone said, "Oh, that's an handball." It wasn't an handball, and the referee, called it well. The second tackle, that wasn't a frigging handball either. You know, when Pirro dodged it, and then obviously they broke and we scored. You know, that and many other bits and pieces. You know, over the last few games that we've seen, there have been some good refereeing decisions made. Yes, there have been some shit ones. Rodon, for example, last night, but that's just what we've got to come to expect in it. You know, the inconsistencies at that level. So
absolutely, you're never going to be perfect, are you? At this level, it's just what it is. If you were perfect, you'd be in Premier League. And that goes for players or refs or linos or whatever. So, I mean, saying that, there's no perfect refs in the Premier League, but the best of a bad bunch, I think. Let's pull a couple more comments. We've got a few. Shelley Johnson says, if we could have played through our through balls at a decent pace to our front guys, we would have had so much more success. So many passes were far too heavy. There were some shockers, weren't there?
There were a few that were too light as well that got intercepted.
Yeah, there were. There were one that were it for Somerville? Was he on the left?
No. Yeah.
It was for Somerville, I think. So I've got his red boots in my head, or whatever colour they are. And the guy was sort of right next to him, and the pass just went straight to the guy that was next to him. It could have been a foot ahead, and Somerville would have had him and would have been in again. But there were a lot of that. There were a lot of that last night. But I'm not gonna get too upset about it because passing has been one of the positives this season compared to last. So
yeah, I mean it's chalk and cheese from the football I've been watching for the last season and a half. You know, you can go into games, you know, pretty confident that you're going to see some good football again. You know, and we haven't had that for a while. It's better than the other shite that we've been subjected to. But
I think our players are probably a little tired as well after playing Sunday.
Yeah, of course they will. They played Friday. They had 2 days more recovery. Than us,
exactly.
You know, so you're gonna see that little bit
ref was
of dropping
roided
performance out. Yeah, Southie's saying in comments that ref was roided up. He wanted a bit of a beefcake, wasn't he? What a bit of a beefcake.
You're a big lad. You're a big lad.
When he carded Ailing, I don't know if you saw when Ailing went off and he had to walk around pitch.
Oh, they were like mouthing off at him.
Ruckus. Well, he picked ball went towards him. He picked it up a little bit and carried it, kind of walked it off a little bit, and then dropped it. And Beefcake came up with his little oily arms and, you know, did one of them fancy getting the guns out sort of thing.
Gets his card out like that.
Yeah, that's it. Which way to the benches? So.
Danny says Dallas has returned to full training from Phil Hay tweet.
Oh, good.
That's good news.
That is good news.
That's good
I just hope that he's. I don't know. It'd kill me if he wasn't as good, or if he had some really shit performances. It'd absolutely kill me.
You don't want to see him destroy his legacy, do you?
Well, we all hold him in such high, you know, regard. You don't, like you said already, you know, with Ailen and a few of the old guard, as we call them. You know, these lackluster performances that we're starting to see more and more from them. You just don't want that from some of the kind of icons of the club. You know, do we call them legends? I don't know. Maybe at some point.
I think when he hangs up his boots, he'll be remembered in that vein. I think it's hard to say that about someone while they're still playing.
Yeah.
But time will look kindly on Stuart Dallas.
Yes, I think so.
I remember that another one that I watched in bloody Afghan, that Derby game in the playoffs that we fucked up. And honestly, he were like stone cold.
Did you not go to that game?
No, I couldn't be there. I was out there.
Mate.
It was torture.
Oh, dude.
It was torture watching that on TV. It's just not the same. Without a beer as well. It were torture. But I remember it were like the way he tried to single-handedly get us back in that game. It were like stone cold when he came back to save WWE from the WCW and ECW invasion. You know, it was just a one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah, we're good at grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck. And don't forget, Shackleton had a cracking game in that game as well. I mean, it doesn't get spoken about enough.
Did he play midfield in that one?
Yeah, he did really, really well. But Dallas, you know that picture of the South Stand when Dallas has scored his goal and he's running off?
Yeah.
I'm right at the very top of the the ones that you see most, and I'm going absolutely off my tits. But there isn't a single person that isn't going absolutely batshit crazy.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely mental. There's arms, legs, people crawling over each other. You know, there's not one single person stood still, and you know, obviously that's.
You don't even care, do you? Though, in them situations, you don't even care if like you get smashed.
I broke my seat at Ellen Road.
You know.
Half a dozen times, maybe. I've smashed the shit out of my shins. I've got sore arms, legs. I've had people kick me in the head as they're flying over. It's just
the lip around the plastic seats when your shins whack into them and scrape down them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a special kind of pain, is that? It's not a fun one.
Yeah.
Skip is asking if we've decided if we're going to change the pod name. We haven't decided, mate, no, because we're useless. And
I think
it's kind of gone on back burner for a bit.
I think we've kind of decided to stick with it because it's kind of more relative now than it was ever whilst Victor Orta was at the club. So by saying ought to know better, we ought to know better. We should have known better. We ought to know better. So it's kind of a piss take now. So,
it kind of is. It's like laughing at ourselves.
It's our ID now as well. For us to change the name, it'd be like, I don't know. I think it's been poo-pooed anyway.
We're established now, and
you're stuck with us.
As that guy before said, we don't get any views anyway, so we can't go changing things and starting over.
Yeah,
We've got to just keep building slowly.
And we've got all you lovely lot that follow us every week and interact with us every week and stuff. Would you want us to start changing our name? I don't think so.
Exactly. So. It is what it is. We're established now. Right, Mr. Dodo is saying the old guard is shit compared to most, but they're loyal to the club and not those mercenaries who are in and out in a season. Folks appreciate that. Definitely agree with that.
They've got credit in the bank instantly, haven't you? Stuff like
they
that.
Have. And I don't think, all the stuff you hear about people saying, he's shit or blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever slates them as people. Nobody ever says, he's a knobhead. They're just, people moan about them not being up to speed anymore because, as we say,
I always said that about McKennie, to be fair.
Oh yeah, him. But I'm on about the old guard, not fucking Western hamburgers or whatever he's fucking known as.
Western hamburger.
Skip is just asking me what year I was in Afghan. I don't even know. I think it was 3 years ago, maybe
what were you
4.
doing out there?
IT support on NATO bases.
All right. I was saying, were they sticking you down them little caves that no normal sized person can get in?
Mate, it were ace.
Clear them out in there, lad.
It were ace. When you went to eat at breakfast or lunch or whatever, it were like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it were like American food. And you could get burgers grilled and shit like that. They had this toasty station with all fillings you could ever think of. It were ace of that. But I were in gym every day because there were fuck all else to do. And I were in shape of my life. I could eat whatever I wanted. It were ace, mate. I enjoyed it. I never had to go out anywhere. So, if they'd said to me,
you'd probably die.
Exactly. If they'd said you have to drive somewhere by road, I'd have been like, no, I'm not going. But, you went around in Chinooks and stuff. If you had to move places, you were just flying around in helicopters. It were ace. It were absolutely ace. But, it sucked having no beer. Well, yeah, that too.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
I'm just going to grab a few more comments. I think we'll probably wrap it up because I'll be honest, I'm just waffling. I ain't got what else to really say.
Yeah, I think we've covered it enough, really. I think.
I was, as I say, I was happy to get a point after the last 5 minutes, but overall, I'm a bit gutted we didn't get 3. So, but we've talked on the main talking points, and it were a pretty flat game for the most part. So there's nothing really stand out left to say. So I'm just going to pull a few more of these comments, and we'll wish these folks a good night.
Absolutely.
Gilly is saying Stewie has such high football IQ. He doesn't rely on pace. Absolutely. He can read the game. Brilliant.
That's fine. That's great. But why did Pablo Hernandez retire then?
I mean, there's having no pace and there's been nearly 40 years old.
We're only 36 when we're retired. But what I'm saying is that, you rely on your body. If he's come back absolutely fucked, then he's going to be no use to anyone. That's my point.
No. I know.
The fact that he knows how to play football, obviously, he won't have lost that.
I think with Pablo as well, I think he's one of those people that wouldn't want to do it anymore if he didn't think he could do it.
Yeah.
At the highest level.
I know what he's saying, but that kind of counter argument is that he might know how to play football, but will his body allow him to? We'll see what sort of level he's at and what where he's at when he comes back. Unbelievable hard.
Liam's just saying good night, lads. Great stream, Leeds forever. MOT. Cheers, mate.
He's buggering off.
Thank you for watching as usual. Well, maybe he's got to, go do something. Who knows?
He's left you.
Alison says Danny was at full fitness over the summer, then got that infection in the bone, was planning to get back on grass.
Yes,
That's the good news. I didn't know about that. I've completely missed that.
Yeah, he got an infection. That's why I delayed him slightly.
Oh, fair enough.
Yes, sir.
It's just, how do you get an infection in your bone? Like, it's not flesh. Is it?
No idea. No, I'm genuinely. I'm not. I don't.
If anyone knows, feel free to tell us. Danny says it should be Farker knows better, but then one day when he inevitably leaves, we'll go through all the same rigmarole again.
Marrow, Mr. Dodo says, there you go. There's someone from the medical profession there chiming in.
I did wonder that.
This is why they're such great listeners. They come in with the facts. We don't bullshit like we do.
Exactly. Well, we can talk shit for ages, but these people, they come in with the facts. Dremit says, they say you should never fall in love with a player on load. I think he means loan. Yes. Maybe you should have never named your pod after a staff member. Hey, mate, hindsight is a wonderful thing,
it
is.
You
we go back to that time.
We were absolutely smashing it in Premier League. That's when we started doing the podcast halfway through our first season back in there, and no one would have ever said a word against Autoreel. Well, obviously there will have been some, but the majority of people were quite happy with what was going on at the time. So yes, like Jay said,
we were all riding on crest of a wave. I mean, when I stood outside Elland Road and saw Calvin lift that trophy on top of that bus, I wasn't thinking, should have named us podcast after Victor Orr. Good times are good times.
Yeah, well, we weren't doing a podcast at that point, you dipstick.
We were doing a podcast around that time.
No, we weren't. It were halfway through.
Did we start in the Premier League?
Yeah, 21.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, mate, well, I definitely wasn't thinking that at that time.
My favourite player used to be Harry Kewell, and look what happened there. So, like I say.
Mate, we all loved him once. We all loved him once. Now we won't piss on him if you're on fire. Matt Leeds says, hope Bamford comes back off the bench versus Southampton, scores 90th minute winner. We all hope that, but I'm not expecting it.
Yeah.
Danny says they gave Jay Watt a pistol instead of an AK-47. Danny, they wouldn't even give me that, mate.
I had to ride in one of them things that's like a revolver, but it's a lighter instead of what else.
I had
so you can club someone with it.
I had to armour up to go on helicopter and that. I had like Kevlar vest,
did they carry around fucking child-sized Kevlar? Did they?
They had it all, mate. They cater for all eventually.
You just have one plate.
Absolutely. I only need one. It's bigger than me.
One plate and a bit of string around your neck.
Mark Jones says, evening, guys. The game was flat. Evening, Mark. Cheers for coming. I'm not sure what Scooby's saying, but Somerville Strike and Pirro with some music notes. I'm imagining he's giving us a little chant here.
It's a new chant.
I've probably heard it and completely forgotten, to be fair.
I'm not going to do a rendition of it, so you've no chance.
You should do. You should do.
No.
You should do. John Elliott C. Garside says, pay your rent and smash the like before you farker off. Let's have some of that.
Thanks, John.
Scooby says, I think it's called the clap. I don't want to know what he's responding to.
I think it's in response to you saying that it's how do you get an infection in the bone?
Okay, fair enough.
Nicely
Mr. Dodo
put.
says, I'm a gardener, so take whatever I say with a big grain of salt. Fantastic.
I think I'd like to be a gardener, when I'm a bit older. Or maybe one
you
of them.
You like being outdoors, don't you? Though.
Yeah, I'm massively into me outdoors. Like one of them, like works for council on, big mowing machines.
Oh yeah.
Races up and down all day. Maybe working at a golf course or something. That'd be sound. That.
If I were like semi-retired or something one day, I'd enjoy doing something like that because I love like out with an engine, don't I? So
yeah, apparently.
Michael Brown says, I think Leeds need to secure Road on a permanent deal in Jan, or I can see another Ben White situation with Spurs, with PL clubs trying to secure his services for a big fee. I think that's probably what Spurs are hoping for. I think Spurs have sent him here to put him in the shop window because at the age he's at now, if they were going to use him, they'd be using him.
I think all I'd say on that subject is we've been burnt by, obviously, what happened with Ben White, so don't get your heart set on it. But,
exactly,
like you say, you'd like to think that if there was a chance of him signing for a decent money, it benefits both them and it benefits us as well. So you'd like to think
exactly.
So. But don't set your heart on it, everyone, because it might not happen.
That's it. And I think
we need to get promoted first, anyway.
Yeah, we do, yeah. Can't run before we can
walk. Jinx.
There we go. I think that's probably enough from us tonight, mate.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm knackered.
We've waffled enough.
We've waffled crap for a while.
I've already said you look terrible,
mate. You look white as a sheet. You don't want to be dishing out anything to me. Have we got anything else we need to? Don't start with your disabilities and try to make me.
Have you seen what weather's been like outside? It's pissing raining. There's no fucking sun since June. It's been
What do you think it's like for me? I have to stay inside. I get blown away.
Well, there you go.
Have we got what else we need to say? Is the Andy's Man Club graphic current, or have all the events expired?
I think so, but
I'm going to grab it and just have a look.
Go on then.
I'm just going to have a look.
Go on,
that would delayed. Oh, there's one there, look. Friday the 29th of December, the pool and snooker night at Northern Snooker Centre on Kirkstall Road. September, fucking hell. My brain's not working. I shouldn't be on here. I shouldn't be doing anything like this.
Sunday, the 24th of September is the walk and talk at Round Here Park. So make sure if you want to and you fancy getting outdoors a little bit and spending some time, go and crack on and get around there. It's a cracking walk and you'll meet loads of lovely people as well.
You will. And as it says on the ad, it's okay to talk. And we've known a fair few people who struggled this year. So please don't struggle in silence. Reach out if you are sort of having a bad time. And as always, if you want pointing in the right direction or something, you can always message any of us and we can put you in touch with AMC or other similar bodies, although there's no one as good as them. And I think that's it from us. So I will say good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe. Otherwise, we might have to stop doing this because, can't survive on peanuts. And thanks for joining me, Smarty. I'll catch you next time.
It's been a pleasure.
Adios, people.
See you later.